Welcome back to my channel. As promised, I'm going to be going over my resume with you guys, sharing a few different tips and tricks that I had that made my resume stand out and help me land my job in a level 4 NICU. For safety reasons, I'm obviously not going to be showing you my exact resume just because it does have a lot of personal information on it, and also because I want you guys to have the opportunity to tailor your resume to you specifically. My resume is very tailored towards me and my profession, but with these tips and tricks, you guys should be able to play around with the different templates and make that happen for you as well. So to start, my template, I did get off Etsy. I will link several different Etsy shops down below that I thought were very helpful and that had very nice resumes. I bought the template, but then I made it so that it fit nursing and what I needed as a new grad nurse. Like I said, I'm not going to be showing you my resume specifically. However, I will look over my resume. I'll let you know the different columns and things like that of what's on here, and then you can tailor that towards what you need in order to help you land your dream job. So to start, looking at the top of my resume, it just says my name, my first and last name, and then it says registered nurse. Under that, I have my phone number on here, I have my email address, and then usually I notice that people put like their full address, and the template did call for a full address, but however, like I told you before, I did edit the template so that it was more specific to how I needed it to be. So with that being said, I was only able to fit my city and state, so that's what I put on here. For the purposes of this video, we'll just say that I live in Chicago. So yes, so it says my phone number, it has my email, and then Chicago, Illinois. So my resume has 2 columns. There's a little smaller column off to the left hand side, and then there's a bigger column. On that left hand side column, I have a section titled education. Under that, I just have my degree. So it says Bachelor of Science in Nursing, which is what I earned from Chamberlain. I have information about my school, so Chamberlain College of Nursing, Addison, Illinois. I also have the years that I attended Chamberlain and any other honors that I had. So I have listed under that Dean's List and High Honor Roll recipient, and then my honors, so Summa Cum Laude Graduate Honors. I don't know if that's even necessary, but I put it on here. And then under the education section, we go down to the next section, and it just says certificates. So under that, I have my registered nurse license, and I have my CPR certification. So yes, it says registered nurse, Illinois Board of Nursing. It has my license number and when my license expires. And then you move down to the next certificate, and that just says basic life support, CPR, AED certified. And again, same thing where I got my certification from. So Chamberlain made us get certified through American Heart Association. So that's what it says. And then it has when my license expires. So this next part is where it gets a little bit different from what you might see on your typical resume. Under certificates, my next section is technical skills. So under here, I put just a bunch of different nursing skills that I was able to perform in the NICU. But if you're applying to like a residency where it makes you rank a bunch of different things and they're very specialized areas, try to make it so that your skills aren't so centered on just one specialty, because then if you don't get that one specialty, it makes the other units think that you're not interested in their unit. So what I mean by that is my residency is at a children's hospital, so a lot of my skills under here are just very specific to pediatrics and just general nursing skills. So for example, I have weight-based medication administration, which is huge in the pediatric population. I have newborn education, which also you don't have to be in the NICU to provide newborn education or just patient education in general. IV removal, we're not allowed to insert IVs in the state of Illinois as a nursing student, so I just have on here IV removal. I have PKU testing, which is specific to newborns, but again, it's a children's hospital. There will be newborns all over the unit. However, they are obviously more likely to be seen in the NICU. NG tube insertion and removal, discharge planning and teaching, you know, just a bunch of different skills that you performed during your time in nursing school is what I have under technical skills. You might see those listed as like hard skills, and what I did was I went on Google. You can Google these things, like pull up a list on Google and see what skills fit your skill set and like what you did, because nursing school started so long ago. It might be hard for you to remember like what did I do when like during that time, you know? So don't be ashamed to pull up a list, look through skills, and when you see a skill that you've accomplished, put that on your resume. The next section under technical skills, I have soft skills. So these are things that are very like personality traits basically. So I have on here that I'm resilient, reliable, adaptable, just to name a few. So yes, just personality traits, things that make you stand out and things that make you different from the next candidate is what I have under soft skills. The best way to explain that, technical skills is just like nursing skills, like skills that you completed throughout your time that are just very specific to nursing. Soft skills, again, like I said, personality traits, things that make you a good candidate for the floor. Just to clarify, I've never seen technical or soft skills on a resume before. I don't know if that's something that you have to put on there, but I just had an empty space, so I felt like that was something that would make me stand out. I couldn't tell you if that helped me land my job or not, if it was necessary or not, but if you have an empty space on your resume to fill, it wouldn't hurt to add. You might see technical skills also listed as hard skills if you Google that. That's everything that's on the left side. So again, to reiterate, I have education, then I have certificates, I have my technical / hard skills, and then I have my soft skills in that order. Okay, so then on the other column on the right hand side, the first title is professional profile. And then under this section, I just gave a little snippet about me, just a quick 2 to 3 sentence summary about me and what I'm looking for, what I've done. So in this section, I talked about my experience as a patient care tech. I talked about my time during my senior practicum in the NICU. When I say I talked about, I don't mean that I gave full-blown detail. I just let them know, like, I am an experienced patient care tech who has 1.5 years experience on this unit, and just left it at that. And the same thing with my senior practicum. I just wrote here that I completed a senior preceptorship in a level 2 neonatal intensive care unit at blank hospital. I told them that I have my bachelor's and where I got it from. I talked about when I took my NCLEX. I can't remember if my specific hospital asked for my GPA, but a lot of other places that I applied to did ask for it, so it's just in this little section. So yeah, my GPA is on there with my graduate honors. I also talked about passing my NCLEX, and I let them know in the end that I was seeking employment at their facility and what unit I was seeking employment for. Like I said before, when I applied to this hospital, they had us rank our top 2 choices. NICU was my first choice, and then I think cardiac was my second choice. So because of that, I didn't put on my professional profile, I didn't put in my last sentence, seeking employment in the NICU at this hospital, because that makes it seem like you're only interested in that one unit. And let's say, like I said previously, let's say that something happens and you don't get your first choice, it kind of lets the other units know that you're not interested in them, and I didn't want to portray that picture. I mean, we all knew that my heart's in the NICU, so thank God that's where I landed, but it just gives you a better chance at getting hired just in the hospital in general. So if it is a specific department that you're applying for, then yes, by all means put, I'm seeking employment in your NICU at this hospital. But again, if it's a residency where you have to rank a bunch of different units, try not to put, I'm only interested in this unit. Alrighty, under professional profile, I then have my work experience. So under this section, I'm 29 years old, you guys. I've had a bunch of different jobs, but I only put what is relevant. So for this specific purpose, I only put my patient care tech job, and I also put student nurse on here as a job, because nursing school is a full-time job if you ask me. So those are the only 2 jobs I have on here. However, during my interview, I did talk about my other jobs, but you want to keep your resume to 1 page. You don't want it to run onto 2 to 3 pages. Again, if you're applying to residencies, you have to remember they get several applications a day. They're not going to have time to read through your life book. They don't need all that. So only put the relevant things on here. Even with schools, Chamberlain's not the only school I've been to. However, that's the only school I have on here because that's the school I graduated from. If you have other degrees and things that can help you, of course, by all means, put those on your resume. But my other schools were mainly just gen ed courses, which transferred to Chamberlain. So I only put Chamberlain on my resume. Okay, going back to work experience. So under this section, you guys, as I stated, I did my patient care job. Under that, I have the hospital I worked at, the city, and I also have the dates that I was employed there. Then under that little section, I have what I did as a patient care tech at Northwestern Medicine. So to start off, I just wrote something along the lines of like, I worked among an interdisciplinary team to provide patient care doing these tasks. And then I listed tasks. My tasks are listed in bullet points. Then under that, still under the same work experience section, I have student nurse. So again, I put Chamberlain College of Nursing. Then there's a dash, Addison, Illinois, dash, September 2018 through December 2020. And then under this section, I just talked about how many clinical rotations I had at Chamberlain. And then under that, I just did a brief summary of my life as a student nurse, basically. I talked about how many clinical rotations I had at Chamberlain and just how it helped me develop technical and hard skills as a student nurse. I also listed each clinical site. So I listed the facility, what course that was for, and then the unit or floor that I worked on. I don't know if you need to list the facilities. I've heard mixed things about that, honestly. I've heard some people say, no, don't. It's not necessary. And then I've heard some people say that they do look at it. I couldn't tell you, you guys, but it's on mine. And I got a job, so I don't know if it matters or not, to be honest. I don't know. I don't think it'll be a situation where they just don't look at your resume just because you have your clinical experiences listed on here. So yes, that is what I have on my resume. My resume is 2 pages only because on the back side here, I just have references. So I have, again, 2 columns. I have on the left side, just organizations that I was in. So Sigma Theta Tau Honor Society and Student Government Association. And again, just the dates that I was active in those societies. I also have, under that section, I have a section titled volunteer work, and then any volunteer work I did. My hospital did want our unit preferences. So I have a section titled unit preferences, and then I have NICU ranked number 1, and then the cardiac unit was my second choice. So that's ranked second. Yep, the rest is just references, and I have 6 references on here. You can put as many or as little references as you feel necessary, but I would say just keep it to 1 page. So technically this is not a page in my resume. I did print it front to back only for the purpose of this video. However, when I turn in my resume, if they don't ask for references, I don't turn this page in. So yes, technically my resume is 1 page, but my references page does have the same like layout and format as my resume, just so it all is fluid when the recruiters are looking at it. So yeah, you guys, that is my resume. I'm not too good at editing, but I'll try to put some tips and tricks and pictures or something so that you guys can follow along with what I was trying to say, since I will not be showing you guys my exact resume. Hopefully once you take a look at the links that I have linked down below for the different Etsy shops, it'll make more sense to you guys as to what I was saying about like the columns and the different sections and the titles of the sections. You guys, like I said before, when you order off of Etsy, you can customize the templates to fit your needs. So let's say that you see a resume template that you really like, but it's not very nursing specific. That's okay. You can still take that resume. You can change the titles, the headings of the different sections. You can move things around. The template that I purchased is nothing like the template that I have here in front of me. I made it fit my needs. I made it more personal. I moved things around. I added things. I took things away. So I encourage you guys to do the same. As I said before, my personal opinion, I don't think it's best to turn in your school resume template. I only say that because, like I stated in my previous video, you guys, several people from your school are turning in that same resume template. So I'm going to use my unit as an example. My program is very, very competitive, you guys. It's the #1 NICU in the state. And I'm not saying that to boast. I'm saying that to say you can only imagine how many resumes they get for each cohort. And if they all look the same, the chances of them looking over your resume are slim to none, because it becomes very monotonous. It's the same thing over and over. And you have to keep in mind, they have to hire new grads, but they also have to do their job too. So they're not going to make a lot of time to look through the same resumes. So this is why I said, make sure you have a resume that stands out. Don't be afraid to add a little bit of color. Now, I'm not saying go put the whole rainbow on your resume. I'm not saying that. But I know that typically we hear like stay with the black and white resumes, and I was looking through Etsy, there were so many gorgeous black and white resumes. So I'm not saying that there's absolutely anything wrong with that at all, but for me personally, I didn't feel like that expressed who I was as a person. So my resume does have a little bit of color. It's purple, in case anyone was wondering, but it's a very muted purple. It's not a very out there and loud purple. So yeah, that is my advice for you guys on how to make your resume stand out. If you guys have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments down below, and always message me on Instagram. My Instagram will be linked right here. But that'll be it for today's video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a good day. Bye.